All right. Well, back to day 93. I think this is part three. And it is 8 o'clock in the evening as I record this. And we are getting close to our destination after a very long and hot day, crossing a completely exposed ridgeline and kind of like a high plains area with no shade. So from the previous report, we had left Old Station after having a nice little break and breakfast and had gone to the caves. But after that, the day turns difficult. Everybody's kind of prepared for it. But the problem, or the difficulty, the hard part of today is that there is a stretch of completely dry land. There's no water flowing here. And the only water that you can get is actually maintained by some water caches that are kindly maintained by a few people up here. Regardless, we had to cross a 13-mile stretch of exposed land. It's been over 90 degrees for the day. Really hot, no shade. And so that, of course, entails carrying a lot of water, which is a lot of weight, which is really hard on a person. So, and nobody likes to do it, but that's the way it is. We've kind of descended now a little bit into this little forested area just as of late. We had some really great views, some dual mountain views earlier. We saw the departing Mount Lassen on one side of the horizon, and then really for the first time got a big view of Mount Shasta, which we are headed towards. So some nice pictures there. But so as it stands right now, we're about 2 miles from a water cache. From the water cache, the one that everybody is just dying to get to. And this is a cache that's maintained by a man named Jim Beatty, and he's got these tanks down on this road. And they're famous. They're famous for providing water in an area where there is none. And they're famous for being labeled with these big numbers. 22 to be exact. Have you figured it out? That's right, folks, it's cache 22. So obviously the temperature's gone down. As you can see, the sun is going down too. Another super late night. I'll be putting in about 25 miles today when all is said and done. So yeah, my feet hurt. I've developed a bit of a new pain in my left knee, so I go from one to the next and but so I may need to slow down a little bit, take some time. Speaking of time, our next town stop is a town called Burney. Sort of apropos in this area, considering how much has burned. But we've kind of decided, me and the Sandman and Sandstorm have thought that we would just do an in and out, do a hero, and not really stay there. So what do I mean by hero? I don't know if those watching know the terminology, but there are 3 kinds of stops on the PCT. 3 kinds of stops that thru hikers make. The first one is a zero. Zero means you make 0 miles in a day. It's a complete day off. So typically you'll get into town, and the next day will be your 0 day, and then the following day you go out of town. So technically, although we call it that would be a single 0, you actually lose about 2 days because of the half days getting in and getting out. So therefore a double 0 would be 2 complete days off, and you'd lose about 3 days. Makes sense? The next level down, or the next fastest stop, would be called a Nero, or a near 0. And a Nero is when you come into town, stay overnight, and then leave the next morning. So it's not a full day off, but in effect you do lose a full day. This usually allows you to get a good night's sleep, get a bunch of chores done, get everything you need, but not actually get sucked into staying in a town and losing a complete day. These are good for people on a time budget. And then the following level down is called a hero, because it's so heroic to get into a town, do everything you need to do, get all your food, whatever washing you need to do, whatever rest you can get, and get out of town on the same day. So you lose about a half a day. So in Bernie, that is what we're doing. We're going to do a hero. And by doing so, we'll basically save ourselves a day of having stayed there overnight. So now, even though I said I need rest, I just didn't want to really rest in Bernie. There are some strategies coming up. There's some fires burning up north that are going to require us to make some changes. So kind of like strategically thinking ahead, we have the town of Mount Shasta coming up, and that is a much better place to take a real 0. Bigger town, more services. What's more, being in that town will allow us to really decide where the fires are, what the condition is, and if we need to skip up north. It's much easier to do it from there because it's right next to the I-5, and there's bus services and other things like that. So right now, with the way the fires are looking, some people are just deciding to go from the Mount Shasta area all the way up to Ashland in Oregon, to skip a fire that is around Etna, California. It's a huge fire. It's not been very much contained, and we'll be coming up on that very shortly, within a week probably. It's not the only fire burning, but it is the main one. However, I don't really want to just skip to Ashland, because I don't like the thought of having come all this way and not being able to cross the border into Oregon. Borders are a big deal. I mean, getting out of California is a huge deal. It's just a wonderful landmark. And so we're thinking of going up to a town called Sayad Valley. And then hopefully, if roads aren't closed, if the fire's not really in that area, if the smoke isn't bad and we can breathe, then we'll go north from Sayad Valley and we'll have our chance to get to the Oregon border, in the proper manner. And so that's the strategy looking forward for now. And it's the fires are fires. They like living things, and the plans could change. So, but as we hike, this is what we do. We just kind of gather information, we make plans on what's best, how to save time, how to stay out of the way of the fire, and the fire services and the people in the towns who are having to evacuate. That's not where we want to go. We don't want to be a burden on anybody. So we just keep our eyes peeled on the alerts and try to make decisions from there. So I think we're probably just about 1.5 miles from our Cache 22. There's going to be, my guess is somewhere in the vicinity of 50 hikers here. It's going to be amazing. I'm going to take maybe a little video and a picture, because everybody, weirdly enough, after being strung out for a while, a lot of groups have kind of come together recently. I'm seeing all sorts of people that I saw way back in the desert, and it's been really fun catching up with some people. But nobody's really going past this cache, because this has been a hard day and a long day, and I'm sure it's going to be tent city. So I'll take some pictures, probably input them in here, maybe a little video. But for now, I'm going to get back to concentrating on this rocky volcanic ground with all these rocks, as you can see. Oh Jesus, there we go. Just a lot of embedded rocks. It makes it easy to kind of blend in with the dirt. It makes it easy to stub your toe constantly and be tripping all over the place. Yeah, we're also back in rattlesnake country, and we just passed one a mile or so back. Walked right by it. It let me know he was there, and but no drama. Not too much drama. So, well, for now, let's say goodnight for now, and try and get to camp, get some food, and get to sleep. That's usually the order of things. Till later.